Hi everyone, I just quickly wanted to say sorry the audio is not up to my usual standard. I was in Los Angeles when we recorded this and that was for the L Word Generation Q Season 3 watch party. I also just wanted to say that we will have several episodes coming out over the next couple of weeks, so we're not going anywhere for a while. We do have a special episode coming out with some special guests within the next few days. Then we're going to be doing a Season 3 wrap-up of everything that's gone on this season, thoughts, feelings, opinions, and I'll be putting a bit more context and things that I've learned into that episode. So make sure you're still subscribed and following us. So without any further ado, let's get into today's episode, which is the final episode of Season 3, Looking Ahead. Hi everyone, welcome back to Drinks at Dana's.
I'm Ash Silver and I'm in a different location in a different time zone today because I'm in sunny Los Angeles for the Season 3 finale party taking place tomorrow. But that's future Ash's problem because today I'm here with Chris and Jess. As always, from the L Word Online, my little chit-chat friends that go through this chaos with me. And today we're going to be discussing the Season 3 finale, Episode 10, Looking Ahead, also known as the one where Bette and Tina get married.
Yay! We got dressed up just for the occasion.
Yeah, we're all fancy.
Fancy.
Sorry if you can hear the fire alarms and police alarms.
I know, it literally just started pouring rain here. Great.
All perfect timing.
Yep.
So how are we doing? How are we feeling?
Good.
Good. Yeah.
Let's see if we can change that. That's the episode. Oh god.
How are you feeling, Ash? Are you a cardboard cutout? Are we talking to a clone of you? Are you actually under your bed?
I have calmed down.
Damn it, I wish we'd done it right after you'd seen it.
Well, for anyone who wants to see my emotional reactions, please go watch the video on my channel. Let's just get into it, I suppose. But there's so much to discuss. But the episode.
So I can see it in your face. You didn't love it.
Yeah, I mean, I had this problem last season too with the finale. Remember, every episode I'm like, this is my favorite episode. This is my favorite episode. But the finales always let me down, and I should have learnt my lesson last year, and I didn't. And that's why it hurts even more this year, because they built it up so much and they told us that there was, this cool stuff happening and this cool people coming back, and nobody came back.
Who was supposed to come back?
Yeah, they kept telling me, we don't want to tell you because we don't want to ruin the surprise, and it's going to be so good.
Did you ever know who it was?
Is it Tasha and they forgot that she was in the previous episode?
No, well, originally, you see, Tasha wasn't supposed to be revealed till this episode, so it was supposed to just be. But they knew I knew that. They knew I knew, because I love Tasha and I was happy that she was back. But they were making it seem like there was going to be other people from the OG, and there was going to be cool celebrities.
I thought it would be a who's who of wedding guests.
Didn't you say that there was going to be all these famous people in it?
Yeah, because they said when Chriselle and G Flip got leaked, they literally said oh, that's nothing. Wait
till you see the
yeah.
Ugh. Maybe that was their crowning glory, and they were like, "Whoops, it's been let out. We can't let them know that's the only ones in it."
There's so much more to say about this, which we'll obviously go over. But Bette and Tina didn't know anyone at their own wedding, so why did they have the they should have just had Alice, Shane, Angie.
Yes. They could have done the courthouse like they said that they did.
I know, and it would
just invite the friends.
Special.
Because why was there was no point in all that other stuff, because Bette and Tina didn't even interact with any of them or know any of them, or so
it's because they were just all background extras.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we start the episode with Bette and Tina getting ready and just have this whole thing about Tina having hot flashes. Like, yes, women have these, but like that's all they talk about in the show is like hot flashes, and that's
Yeah,
it.
but I'm like, they're in this multi-million-dollar mansion, and there's nowhere that there's aircon that she would have had to like rig up and MacGyver like a ice sculpture fan thing for her. I'm like, just turn up the heat. I mean, turn up the aircon. Like,
Yeah,
why did they have to go into the walk-in fridge? That made no sense, except for to play into the cliche storyline of getting locked in.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like probably like deathly afraid of industrial refrigerators because I've never seen one in a TV show or movie where someone doesn't get locked in there. Like, don't go in the fridge.
Or
I'm
at least
terrified to work in a restaurant.
Don't close the door. Just like have it propped open.
They make them seem way deadlier than they actually are.
Meanwhile, chefs are like, I go in there every day. I don't know what all this fuss is about.
Oh yeah, the chefs are having sex in there, but
Ew. Yeah, but I had to set up the cliche, so it was there for a reason.
I tried to not read too much online before I had seen the episode because I didn't want to be completely spoiled, but I did notice a theme of people complaining about the episode.
Yeah.
And what I gathered from the little bits that I read was that there wasn't enough Bette and Tina. Like they expected some, like we've all seen on TV shows and stuff, the over the top, the climax, the wedding, what you wait for forever, and it'd be like beautiful and iconic. And they said like, oh, the whole thing was just interrupted by like hijinks and all these other people's storylines and stuff, and it seemed to be like that's what people were really upset about.
Well, it's funny because Leisha said in Pants that like, didn't she say that she had edited it to be like a really funny comic episode and they like butchered it? I'm like, oh, I want to see what she had if it was even funnier than what we got. That would have been a good episode to watch. But I can see how like that would detract from the actual it being a wedding. Like they could have used all this comic stuff earlier in the season when there was a boring episode.
There's a lot of stuff that's been cut from this episode, and there's a lot been cut from this season. So I do think that Leisha and Kate they talked about it on Pants, how like their like they got out in front of this. I think they saw this edit and were like, I mean, they've spoken about the fact that they are not happy with like storylines and the way things are on the show at the moment, so they have got out in front of it and said, you guys are going to see this episode next week. This is not what we signed off on, what we wanted. We had a different edit, and that's
I want to see the director's cut.
So that's what everyone keeps asking for.
Because even like the comic
a lot cut.
The comic bits did not come across as funny. They came across as just like stressful or like there's a problem now,
Yeah.
Some of it was funny. Like, okay, Dani getting high was funny. It was inappropriate. I don't know why she took it. But I like the timing of it was horrible. Like, why would you take Molly at a wedding? But like, she herself was funny. I found her funny.
I thought it was awful. The bit that I really loved, that I thought was really funny, and I think was a lot of Kate and Leisha, was them pushing each other in the fridge window.
Oh,
like, back and forth, like, oh, little problem.
Oh, yeah, I liked that a lot.
So I knew it.
It'll be stuff like that. Like, that's them, I think, being pretty much or being like very in control of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, I did not like anything to do with the Dani situation. No. I thought it was awful. I thought it was really like cringe, and all the stuff with Tess and the coke and stuff. I thought that was awful too. Horrendous.
The stuff that made the least amount of sense to me and almost seemed like they'd cut the episode and they went, oh, wait a minute, we left out Micah and Maribel, and then they just inserted them into bits of the episode, and it made no sense at all. Like everyone else was at the wedding. It's all set at the wedding, and then all of a sudden you just come to this really boring of them. Like it feels like it could have been in the last episode, and they like somehow left them out and went, oh crap, we've got this stuff we didn't put in. Quick, let's put it in. I said this on my live with Jess today, but my
I watched this episode with my sister because I was in Oregon, and my sister, she knows like who some of the people are in the L Word because obviously I talk about it a lot, and all my sister's best friends are lesbians. And when we started the episode, her husband was watching it with us too, and she was like, "Oh, those are the people you like, right? Like Bette and Tina." I was like, "Yeah, like it's their wedding, da 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 da." And halfway through the episode, my sister was like, "I'm sorry, I just really don't get this. Like, why is it these people's wedding, but they're like not in the episode, and then it keeps cutting to these people?" And she pointed at Micah and Maribel, and she's like, "And they seem to be in an entirely different show to everyone
Mhm.
else."
Yeah.
And I was
Like,
like, "Well,
they were floating outside of the show. Like, it literally, you could have plucked all their scenes and put them in any other episode.
like what? Why would you waste that time when
I know. I'm not even a huge Tibette fan, but I was like, I would be pissed. This is like taking
Yeah.
up crucial minutes of like the wedding episode.
They had 10 minutes of screen time in their own wedding in only one of the 4 episodes that they're in the season. I bet you if you added up all the Bette and Tina time this season, that they wouldn't even equate to an hour of screen time, a tenth of the season, the 2 leads.
Well, and the sad part was like you're saying that, like, you know, the Micah and Maribel seemed just completely extraneous, but it was the only sort of quality interaction we've had with their storyline. You know, anything of substance actually happening and like pushing their storyline forward. But it just came at the completely wrong time.
But not only the wrong time, but like the wrong time to bring that up. Hello, Micah. Like they should have had this discussion when they first said, let's have a baby. Oh, FYI, well, I'm disabled. What are the complications if I give birth? Blah, blah, blah. Like that should have been like not now.
Yeah.
I mean, she may as well be popping the baby out right now. And he's like, oh, hold on. What if?
Yeah, there's just there's so much that
It was a little bit of a clusterfuck, let's admit it.
yeah, honestly, the super super hard thing too is that I know that they're not going to come out and say like, "Oh, the finale was just okay" or whatever, like, or even before, like they have to hype it up and say it's good and stuff, but they kept saying like in like Marsha did an interview with Jess, and like, you know,
she was all like, I can't wait to see your face when you see it.
yeah, and like saying, "Oh, yeah," like acting as if all questions would be answered and like everything was going to make sense. Because in the beginning of this show, like I mean, most of the shows that I've worked on or been aware of what's going on the show, most successful shows write like Yellow Jackets, where okay, they don't have every nitty gritty detail, but they know this is a 5-season arc, because most shows, the ideal world is go for 5 seasons due to syndication and all that stuff. And they'll have things like, okay, we want, you know, Shane to end up in an open marriage by season 5, so this is how we got to get her there. But this show doesn't work like that at all, which kind of broke my heart when I found it out, that they're just not even going like season to season, they're going like episode to episode.
They're winging it is what they're doing.
Yeah. And to not have any sort of
direction,
resolution, like where we're going, it's so confusing and just so half-hearted. Like I don't understand what was the point of all this season, like at all, because the Bette and Tina stuff was like some of the only stuff that landed for me anyway. I'll speak for myself, and it was just like absolute crumbs of crumbs, like crumbs in 4 episodes, and then the other stuff was just all this fucking around, like the Dani stuff and Dre and like that. Like,
why did they even bring Dre back in this episode for like a 2-second scene?
No fucking clue. And like
that was bizarre. I wonder if they had more scenes cut out.
I don't get it.
Every decision of every character coming back or not coming back or whatever seems to be like, what relationship drama can we cause?
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
oh, here, let's write this in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they kind of almost made it seem like Roxy was like Dani's like true love, like from forever, like from her
Yeah.
university days, and like, oh, she's been pining after all these
Yeah.
time, and as if you would not have ever known that they liked you all this time, and then only now be like, yeah, now we'll hook up, cool, and then her being like all like, and wasn't that's stolen from like Gigi, wasn't it? The whole, is this real?
That's the third time they've
Yeah.
used that. They used it with Gigi and Dani. Is this real? In like episode 7 last season.
Like, who even
Tina
says that in real
used
life? Is this real? Unless you're constantly high or drunk. Like,
Yeah.
is this real life right now?
Yeah.
Yes, of course it is.
Weird. Super weird.
Yeah, honestly, by the time we got to like the vows in this episode, I was bored. I was like,
Oh yeah.
checked out.
Me too. And as I said, I was watching with my sister, and like 15, maybe not even 10 minutes in, I was like, I'm really concerned. And she was like, why? And I was like, because the episode is not good. And she's like, yeah, I was wondering, because like my sister knows that I'm not here sitting and watching, like, you know, and like spending significant time talking about and like focusing on. And she was like, this is so weird, like I don't know what's going on, and like why there's the people who are supposed to be the focus are like trapped in a fridge for 2 minutes and we don't see them any other time. And we did get there. I mean, in like Bette and Tina did get married, but Jennifer Beals wrote the vows. So take that out, which was like, that to me was like one of the best bits. Then what is the rest?
It was fluff.
Yeah.
I just remember halfway through the episode being like, I don't think I've ever seen as much B-roll footage as I have in this episode of random things at the wedding or mountains or cars or palm trees, or there was everything in the episode but actual content.
But you have like literally a huge, amazing, gorgeous, talented cast, and all you're showing is like random, like you use B-roll because for like establishing, or because you want to cut away from, because
they literally were cutting to B-roll every time they went back to the wedding. It was like a whole 30 seconds of just like food and drink and people walking past, and I'm like, I think we get that we're at the wedding.
Yeah, we haven't changed locations.
It would have made way more sense to just do like a small intimate thing with Alice, Shane, Angie, and maybe like 1 or 2 other people, because
then you could have had things go wrong like in a smaller scale.
But why would you bring all these like Bette and Tina didn't even interact with anyone else? And I mean, I don't know whether that's just like a timing thing, or like Jennifer and Laurel are literally like, we got 2 days, get these scenes done. But and they only, I lean to that too. But
like, it seems like they shot all that wedding stuff without them. They were literally just in the fridge and they shot that walking down the aisle, and that was it.
Yeah, it does sound like a timing thing. Like, okay, you gotta fit my stuff in this amount of time. Honestly, I don't even remember the vows. Like, I'd have to go back and rewatch it because I'm sure it should have been touching or something. But if like you said, if they had done like a smaller intimate wedding, it's like we could have had like all these really nice words that we wanted to say, not just between Bette and Tina, but they should have been like thanking their friends too. Like they said, it was like kind of a shout out to, you know, us, the viewers, like, oh, these people have been on this journey with us, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it's like, say something nice to your friends who threw together a fucking massive wedding in like a weekend or something.
Yeah.
Then you could have had some really good, like what they should have done is that, and then they somehow work Tasha, and then you could have had like those 5 like having even just 1 or 2 good OG scenes. Like, we would be happy with that. But not like what went on and just showing wedding to show wedding, and then the only people were the people that we knew that were going to guest star, which was Chriselle, G Flip, the press secretary.
I don't even know who they are. So
I wrote down Alice, they're talking to some randoms. I'm like,
I just knew that from Instagram that they were someone famous, but I was
Yeah,
like, I
I
don't
only
know
knew
who
because
they
of the
are.
show when I looked it up. And
I'm
then
too old to
fucking
know who
Eileen.
20-year-old famous people are. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I don't think they're
honestly,
that
I
young.
only knew because when they posted on TikTok that they were on the L Word set, like I looked them up. But then the only other person was who I guessed, Eileen.
Oh, I know. She freaking put herself in the episode. Good on her.
What?
Did you? Oh, you
Margaret
missed it.
Marshall.
Blinked
Did you
and
not
missed
see?
it. No.
Yeah,
You
she
were
was there.
probably writing notes when you missed it.
Oh,
She was
I went to-
there.
It was when they turned around and they were announced wife and wife, and they were walking down the aisle, and like there's Eileen, like woo. But who
Oh,
was
yeah.
the lady? Who was the lady next to her? Was she someone famous, Ash?
She's the U.S. press secretary, Joe Biden's.
There you
US
go.
press secretary.
All right, did not know
What?
that. And just missed that as well.
She's. You remember that
Wait,
picture
Jen
that
Psaki or the new one? Like, wait, what are we talking about?
I?
In real life, African American lesbian
Yes.
press secretary?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Karine Jean-Pierre. She was standing next to Eileen.
You had one job, Jess.
She accidentally.
I honestly, I told you I was bored by that point. I did walk away. I was like, this is a good time to go microwave my tea.
She actually.
I was just like, oh wow, look, there's Eileen. All right, she's put herself in the. She's Hitchcocked herself into the episode.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
gonna
like,
watch
good on
that.
her.
But yeah, there wasn't even any like, sentimental moment with Angie or anything. I mean, she
No.
should have been with them, helping them get
other
ready or
guests.
Like
something.
that whole thing with her dragging Hendrix to it as well.
Eileen was there. We saw Chriselle and G Flip later, but Eileen was at the ceremony, and behind her was Karine Jean-Pierre, who is Joe Biden's press secretary, and she accidentally leaked the Bette Tina wedding outfits because she posted a picture on social media the day they filmed this, and they were all like in their costumes. It was with like Jennifer.
And it's not like they could be like,
Laurel.
you take that back.
Yeah.
Who would have even guessed that was their wedding outfits, though?
Because it's pretty obvious. There's
Really?
like
I
magical,
was bored by
there's
it.
magical
Also.
fairy lights in the background, and they're all dressed up in 2 suits.
But they like Jennifer Beals in the OG L Word. Everyone talked about what she wore, and her outfits were amazing. And it's like,
Yeah.
really? That's what they came up with? Like, I thought it was kind of plain.
Yeah, the costume person.
But Bette's changed
Actually-
now. She's a changed woman.
Oh yeah, the costume person only joined this season in episode 6, so they didn't actually dress Bette and Tina until episodes 9 and 10. That's the only time
They were like,
have
what
dressed
did I
them."
just walk into?
Yeah, can you imagine? So
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of fantastic costuming this season, period,
No,
throughout the
no.
whole thing.
So I just wish they did something with the wedding either way, because I feel like this big thing, but that wasn't a big thing, that just was like all for like extra shots and B-roll shots. Like it didn't, nobody interacted. Like Bette and Tina didn't know any of those people. We don't know any of those people. What, like why?
Honestly, Sophie is Alice's employee. Finley and Shane are friends, but who invites like friends of friends or employees or
Yeah.
whatever to a wedding? It's like they don't even know Bette and Tina.
Yeah.
No, I was questioning why they were even there. Like when Sophie and Dani are having a chit chat at the beginning, I'm like, why are they there? And then Dani drops that whole, well, I found the location. And I'm like, even then, you're not entitled to come to the wedding.
I know, like when I mean, I know Dani is like friendly with Bette and like she worked for her, but I wouldn't invite like people that work for
Or
me.
your
to my
like ex-girlfriend, Pippa Pascal. She had no reason to be there. That was just a whole odd thing.
So
Yeah.
the Pippa and Sophie thing, do you think it's like they're trying to find a way to hang on to Vanessa Williams?
It's
or,
possible.
Or
Like,
was
to bring
it
it
just
back.
or was it just a device of like Sophie's ayahuasca dream sequence of like, I'm discovering myself and I need an artist to like remind me that I used to be an artist too. And they're like, we know an artist, Pippa Pasquale, and that's why they brought her back.
It seemed a little too convenient for that.
Yeah, I mean,
I think if there is a season 4, they could easily be like, Pippa Pascal is a new series regular.
Yeah, because she could have met literally anyone at the wedding who was like, oh, I'm a cool artist, and now we get to talk, and oh, you used to be a documentary filmmaker? That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a reaction to them not bringing Vanessa back, so this was what they did to.
But I love that they like try and cater to the audience for some things and not other things.
Yeah.
Like, bring Carmen back.
Oh yeah, I was pissed when they name dropped Carmen. We've done worse things.
I know.
Carmen at the altar.
I know. I was like, the first time we hear her name out of your lips is at that time. And like, I didn't appreciate that the fact that that very first scene with Shane making out with the wedding planner, whatever her name is, Chrissy or whatever, it's totally a throwback to Carmen. She's on the radio like, oh, I'm gonna go for Kimmy or whatever her name is. I'm like, that's how Shane and Carmen first hook up. When Carmen's on there like, I'm gonna go for Carmen, or no, go for hair.
I think they were just doing what they felt was good for the show, and then they also had a lot of time to do other stuff for some reason, but they did cut out a lot of Bette and Tina stuff too, which is why I don't understand that either. Like,
you could have easily lost like 2 minutes of B-roll and left Bette and Tina stuff in.
It's a similar thing though with what you're saying, in the sense that they literally are doing the Tibette's Endgame, putting Bette and Tina back together because they've been forced to via social media, whatever. But they're like, okay, we're going to give you them back together, but we don't have to do it in a way that you'll like. Like, they're just ticking the box.
Honestly, the wedding planner had more screen time and probably more lines than either Jennifer or Tina or
Yep, completely agree.
I liked her though. She was cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't a super fan, but
there was no Bella in this episode. What happened with that? I reckon that was cut out.
But the professor was just what we need. More professor.
Because I was waiting for a resolution to the whole like Bella being in love with Angie, and she even went off to.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to cut to that. Maybe they did, and they cut it out because that seemed very unresolved as well. But there was no reason for her to bring the professor. Like, you could have just
why would you bring him to your parents' wedding? The people who hate him and like probably want him arrested.
And they know Bella. They've met Bella, so she could have come as a +1.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't understand it at all. Like, why? Why?
Ash, do you want to talk about the fridge scene?
Yes. I actually think that the fridge scene was weird. One, they cut a lot out of the fridge scene. I think it was just a weird choice to have this like thing in the beginning where they were like, oh, I'm hot, and they don't ever really talk about like menopause or anybody having issues other than people being hot. And then basically they went in the fridge. I think most of the conversation in the fridge was like not very Bette and Tina. Like
filler material.
Yeah. And she talks about like, oh, Bette being too positive.
Oh, that whole bit was weird. Yeah. I was like, wow, there's no pleasing Tina, is there? She's
I
was like, dude, you just did a 180. You like,
she completely changed for you.
Yeah. She's like, you hate when she yells, but now you don't want her to not yell. You want her to yell. I'm like, what?
It was all weird.
She was like, I hate your what did she say? Something like, I hate your positivity. Who says that?
Literally.
Who says that? No one says that. Positivity is awesome.
You're being too calm right now in our crisis?
Yeah. Like, that's exactly what you want in a crisis.
What did you think? You're going to die in there? Like, they're obviously going to get you out at some stage, too. Like,
it was like, I need you to fly off the handle and start dropping F-bombs because otherwise I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
Like, being so calm and rational. And
they supposedly have been going to therapy in Canada, so...
Yeah, there was a lot of exposition.
All of this would have been talked about already.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
And then she's all like, you should be yourself 100% of the time. I'm like, when has Bette ever not been herself?
Yeah. And
is she implying that this new version of Bette is not really Bette? That she was just faking it to like seem better? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, with the fridge scene, you were saying that like you think a lot was cut out.
Yeah.
I only noticed it, or it became noticeable to me when they rescued Bette Tina out of the fridge and she was half wrapped in cling wrap. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I think that would have been a funny scene where she actually was, because wasn't there a picture on Instagram of her with wearing the cling wrap? Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Hey, how are you? Oh my god. Yes.
And so there must have been a scene that they filmed. I assume they filmed a scene of her getting cling wrapped to begin with.
I mean, they cut out like half the vowels, so of course they're cutting. Like they just everything. I think half the stuff was cut out of this episode. So
and those
whatever
vowels weren't even that long. So there's no reason why they should have cut them out.
Yeah,
it's not like a timing thing.
No, they had plenty of time.
2 shots of B-roll.
Yeah, B-roll, or I don't know, the 27 minutes.
It almost comes across like somebody edited, like someone butchered it after Leisha had been done with it. Someone butchered it, and it was too short. And they were like, "Oh no, now it's too short," and so they had to insert all these big, like extra B-rolls to fill it out.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. So we'll move on to attempt number 1 at getting married, and Tessa's reaction and what was going on from her getting in that guy's car through to
that was so weird.
Shane.
At first I thought she was almost going to sleep with him. I was like,
me too, that's what I thought.
I was like, was she supposed to be bi this whole time, or was like,
that's exactly what I thought.
Yes, I actually wrote down, I was like, I'm sorry, is Tess bisexual? And then I was like, oh no, she's just bumping coke, so okay.
Yeah. But even that
was like, all of a sudden everyone was like, oh my god, she's bisexual?
Yeah, same. Yes. Because he was flirting quite heavily with her, and she just flirted right back.
Yeah.
And it was like literally Shane had just walked off. So I'm like, what? It was very weird.
Yeah, I really, really didn't like this choice.
I'm like, did Jamie Clayton piss someone off on set? Because they like totally butchered her character.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
It was like Finley wasn't rock bottom enough. We have to show like a real alcoholic rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It was just
I felt so bad for Finley, like as she's driving off in the car and she's screaming like, get out of the car. I'm like, oh my god.
Get out of the car! Stop it! Tess, please! Tess! Drive away. Oh, fuck.
I was like, she's gonna die. That was like exactly what that
Well, we got the call from the police department and we still don't know, like, that was left unresolved.
Yeah.
Is she arrested? Is she dead? Like, what's happened?
It's the great Jenny mystery. We will never
the Jenny mystery. Who killed Tess? What happened to Tess?
Episode. We won't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm like, I've seen this after school special. You get in the car with someone who's loaded and you don't put your seatbelt on and you drive off at a high rate of speed while someone begs you to get out. That after school special ends with the car a mangled mess
at the bottom of the cliff.
And see, kids, don't drink and drive. Don't do drugs. Yeah.
Say no to drugs.
Yeah.
Weird.
But did we expect? I wouldn't have expected. Why is Finley her emergency contact?
Yeah, that was very random.
I don't think she was. She was just happened to be there when it happened. Because Finley and Tess were the ones that brought the alcohol to save the day. No.
But the cop like asks for.
Oh, you mean when she calls up? Oh yeah. That is weird. You think it would have? Oh, I was gonna say you think it would have been Shane, but
I'm either right. So it's either that's your emergency contact, or
requested.
Finley has requested to call this person because she's been arrested or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but strange that they'd be calling from her phone. Wouldn't they just be calling from a?
Which is why usually they call from your phone when it's like, oh, here's this person's emergency contact.
Yeah,
and they're dead, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, at working like in medical stuff, like the only time I would use like a patient is in an emergency situation where you don't know, like you're literally, a lot of the time what I would do is I would open the phone and look if they had like home or like, you know, hubby or something, or wife or something, and then if I couldn't find those, then I would start calling numbers that they had just called, like their recent call list, because, and especially if there's like a number there a lot, I would try and be like, oh, call them and be like, who is this? Like, oh, I've found your number from, you know, so-and-so's phone. They were in an accident. But if they were like gravely injured or dead, like you normally would wait and find it through like proper means.
So we may never know what happened to Tess.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with we're not gonna know.
It's the black hole, the characters going into the black hole, the L-word black hole.
Yeah. So Tess ruins the cake, and then we have the OGs.
She ruined Thanksgiving as well with the turkey.
Yeah.
2 events down, Tess.
Yeah. And then the OGs are looking at the cake, and that's when they have their little moment where they mention
30 seconds.
Carmen. And
They're like, here, let's see you go. Here's your 30 seconds.
yeah, now shut the fuck up.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. We gave it to you.
We've done worse. Yeah, you left Carmen at the altar.
You dated that vampire.
Oh, oof.
I left you for Carrie.
It's okay. I slept with Candace in jail. Carpenter.
See, Carmen, right there. There you go. What else do you want?
I didn't love that though either. Let's bring
No.
up all of our past mistakes. You
Yeah,
dated
it was
a
like-
vampire. Like,
Yeah,
And the
like,
way they phrased a lot of them, okay, the Carmen one, like, is just annoying because we know that they're not bringing her back. 2, Alice's, I wouldn't say that's like a flaw, like dating the vampire. Lots of people bring that up as something they liked. Tina herself has said that she didn't leave Bette for Carrie, that she left Bette for the same reasons she's always given. And then Carrie like happened to be there. And also Bette did not sleep with Candace when she was in jail. So
is she referring to the one where they did it through the wall or something?
yeah, the wall. We talked about that in my live.
You know, technically.
Thinking is cheating, I guess, according to Tasha. So,
Unless it was cut out and we didn't see it.
yeah, she'd count that.
yeah, that pissed me off when they said that, especially the Carrie and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
They're like,
They
let's
don't-
see
they
how
don't-
much inaccuracy we can throw into one.
Oh god.
gosh.
So then we got round 2 of the wedding.
Like, it was okay.
They finally make it. And as we mentioned before, it seems as well, I'm pretty confident that Jennifer Beals wrote at least about stuff. And then they like read the vows and stuff. I know a lot of people were annoyed by this, that they just kept cutting to like random, like to Dani and Finley and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
just random people blowing bubbles and whatever. No, that was at the end, but yeah, reactions of people.
Like just give us like Bette and Tina were on screen for 10 minutes of the entire episode.
Did you get your little stopwatch out?
they definitely are not in an hour of footage this season for sure.
By the power vested in me by ordainmefast.net, I now pronounce you married for life.
Yeah, and I 100% thought, oh, like Bette and Tina wedding scene, like that's going to be the best part of this episode. Like that's what this is all about. That's going to
Yeah.
be the best part. For me, the best part of the episode was 100% Tasha. Rose
Yeah.
Rollins coming back was like, yes, Tasha, this is the best. I was happier about that than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
as well.
it was strange that she was just hanging around. All her fireys left and went back to work, and she's just wandering around the wedding, like. And then Alice
That's
is
not
like,
strange at
"Oh,
all. She actually knows them, unlike
Yeah,
Sophie
she
and
does
Dani.
actually
And
no, I know," but she specifically
Dre and all
says,
those
she
random.
specifically says to Alice, "Oh, I'm working," and she's not really working. She's just walking around, hanging out at the wedding. Like, she could have actually been at the wedding instead of
Oh,
just.
no, that would have been weird. But
No, because Bette actually says you can stay when she rescues
Oh,
her out
yeah.
of the thing. And yeah, and she goes, "Oh, cool, yeah, that'd be nice."
yeah,
Yeah, but then she continued working. Because Alice just bumps into her later when she's leaving. And then she asks her if she wants to dance. Which, again, we didn't get a resolution with that either.
but it was nice. I liked it. And we got the reason. We finally got the reason. Not the bullshit reason of like, I couldn't handle you being famous,
Yeah.
but you were still in love with Dana. That's a real reason to end a
Yeah.
good relationship with someone, is like, you're not over your ex.
I did think that they like kind of not backtracked, but like tried to undermine the Alice and Tasha relationship a bit, because they were together for a long time and they did have like issues, obviously, but a lot of the stuff with them was like situational, like don't ask, don't tell being around, Tasha being in the military, like things that
Yeah.
weren't really their fault.
Yeah. Or, and you know, and some of it's like, I don't know, things you have to learn about people and learn how to compromise. Like, we come from different worlds, like, we grew up differently. And so it's like, we come at, like, for instance, if you were going to get married and have a family, like, oh, we parent in different ways. Like, we
Yeah.
better work that out before, you know, it gets serious, kind of thing. So it felt like it was those kind of things where it was like, they just came at things from completely different, you know,
Yeah.
perspectives. But those things, you know, you can overcome that sometimes by just, you know, being open to compromise and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I love that they finally hashed it out and that, you know, it seems like they were honest, and we've seen that after Alice's ayahuasca trip that it's like it seems like she finally let Dana go. Like Dana
Yeah.
told her, like, you have to let me go. You have to move on. So it's like, oh my gosh, she's finally ready. Like, she could be ready for Tasha.
Speaking of people being ready to let people go, Ash, how did you feel about the Gigi?
I'll never be ready to let that go.
That was just so weird.
I told yous all that loads of people kept giving me shit when I said Gigi is in episodes 1, 2, and 3. And when that interview with Marja came out with Jess last week, I said, they're giving you nothing. They're giving you a throwaway line. That's all you're going to get, which is exactly what we got. A throwaway line that undermined the character, like sidestepped away around Nat, the whole, like, it was just so like lazy and like, oh, I feel like it was
both of the characters actually.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you're throwing Nat under the bus with her. Okay.
Yeah, and it feel like all they wanted to do there was just say, guys, shut the fuck up about Gigi. She's with Nat. I was gonna say Stephanie. She's with Nat. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
And it's
Stop
funny because someone,
what they
after they were
wanna say.
discussing this exact same thing on Facebook, someone wrote, well, yeah, they wanted to have like a way to bring Gigi back. And I'm like, this is the exact opposite of what they did.
Yeah.
This is like, she ain't never coming back. Like, that was her throwaway. The character is in the garbage bin.
I actually wrote down, after it said she was engaged, they were engaged, I was like, the fuck is with this parent trap bullshit? I'm like,
yeah, like what? Like people getting back together.
Yes, no, in real life it doesn't happen. People don't get divorced and then get remarried years later. I mean, very, very, very rarely does that happen.
Yeah, they might get back together, but they don't remarry.
In the same, two couples in the same year.
And the fact that like you think that if it was real life, Gigi would have called Dani at one point and went, oh hey, just wanted to let you know that Nat and I are now engaged. I don't think she'd be the kind of person that wouldn't call.
You don't leave the orange assault as like the last time you talk to this person.
The orange assault?
What the hell is the orange assault?
Yes. The literal throwing oranges.
Oh, the actual oranges.
Actual oranges.
That's not your last interaction with someone who you said you were in love with and you were like possibly going to move in with and you'd been together for a year. It's like,
yeah. No, you act like adults and cry or whatever and like be upset. Throw oranges at the car.
Do you know who I feel so... Can you imagine being Ari Mandy?
No, because she would have been so excited that her storyline was picking up.
You are a fan of the L Word. You go on the show. You have like, okay, for first season, like people like Dani and Bette. Then you have this like rocket ship that like blows you the fuck up. Everybody loves you. You literally go to Henrietta Hudson's and people are like calling your name, like cheering you, like following you around, blowing up social media like that. I mean, they're actresses too, like going and they got great loads of really positive attention on social media there, and you end the season with the character like, okay, Dani was arrested, but Dani and Gigi were good. They had some good stuff going on. Then you get back to work on season 3 and they're like,
they hand you the script.
Here's
like,
your scene where
what
you
is-
you blow up your fucking storyline by throwing oranges at Seppi. You have 2 scenes in 2 episodes where you're going to film them all in one day, and it's only going to be you and Gigi. And then episode 3, we're going to burn it all to the ground, throw some oranges at it, and then over the next 7 episodes,
maybe it's so she can find out she's expendable.
yeah, you're going to slowly descend into relationships with 2 paper cutout characters that nobody has any passion really behind. And then in the finale, you're going to be taking Molly at a wedding and having to act like an absolute tosspot.
I thought she was funny in some when she was dancing. That was pretty funny.
Oh no, I thought it was so cringe. So cringe.
Okay, like out of context, it was funny. Not in the situation of it being in the wedding, but just in the way it was
felt
edited
so
and
bad
stuff.
for
It was just
her.
funny. Yeah.
Nobody could make that. Like, it just was written bad.
Yeah, like honestly, you're not like in a better position than Tess at that point. Like, who goes to like a
Character
fancy
assassination, yeah.
event and takes Molly?
I know.
Like, how is Finley suddenly like the most mature of all of the Gen Q characters?
Yeah.
I mean, the rest of them are like a mess. They just seem so young and immature.
Yeah.
It's almost like the first time I kind of almost could see Jacqueline being the character instead of us watching Finley now, because she's more of a well-established actress.
Well, it's weird. I mean, yeah, it's like she's adulting, even though they're trying to make it sound like, oh, what, you don't have a stove at your house? And
oh yeah, the weird
you're
sublet.
gonna
Yeah.
cook all your meals in the toaster oven. But
it was
like,
weird that like
still-
she was like, come stay at my place, and Tess is like, oh no thanks. I'm like, well, where is Tess staying then?
Yeah.
Like homeless in the car or something, or living at the bar? But no,
Hotel?
because she couldn't have been at the bar because she was
Shane's
arriving.
house? Look, she said
but she
something about like
moved out,
not
didn't
wanting
she?
to go home. I don't know.
That's right, she did right at the end. Maybe she is just at a hotel then.
Yeah. So after all the chaos, and I don't even, it's in a way too, can they not, like, it's been 20 years of this, like, can they not just let Bette and Tina get married? Like, Jesus Christ, like.
But I think the real icing on the cake for me was like we had our little moment of them standing there. They've just proposed, like they've just said their vows and stuff, and then you just see like Alice go, and that was like
Right. That was weird.
I thought it was funny, but I thought like if I was a Tibetter, I'd be like pissed that she just came and ruined the moment.
She ducks into the shot. Yeah, that was.
It was
weird.
funny. Yeah.
So they do finally, despite everything, get married, and
Woo.
they do look adorable, look super beautiful, great moment, and they have like their first dance and stuff. But all this was so short, like
It was so short.
Mhm.
I was
so
expecting
short.
a whole like Luke and Laura extravaganza. Like, kids, Google that if you don't know what it is. But like, we didn't even get Bella Swan at the dance level of moment.
Yeah.
there. I mean,
It was
it
just
was
like,
not enough.
we gotta get these shots. Boom, boom, boom. All right,
Mhm.
next. And yeah, that's what I just I was so angry when I saw this episode. But we do get some nice shots of them and stuff. And again, like, I liked Tasha and Alice, and like the Shane and Angie scene. Like, I just wish that stuff like that with the 5 of them would have been a bit more like a moment where it would have been like Shane, Alice, Bette, Tina, and Tasha, and just be like, some sort of acknowledgement about what's gone on or what they've been through or something. Just. And then we have Bette and Tina literally walking away and walking off into the sunset. And I think, as you said, Jess, every time that they were saying our friends, I think that they were referencing the audience.
Yep.
And I mean, was I disappointed by this episode? You bet. Like, to have 10 minutes of Bette and Tina at their own wedding, bad. And there's so, like, obviously this season I would have loved them to have been in all the episodes, and even if they could do 4, if they could at least be in those 4 episodes with more than 10 minutes, I would have loved that. But the one thing I will say is, no matter what, we did get them back together. They did end together on a positive note, and
You got your wedding.
that I can be thankful for. Yeah, I guess I just have to deal with the rest. But
It's the best wedding you're ever going to get given by Showtime.
that's for damn sure.
They're like, oh, I hear you want a wedding? There you go.
Can I interest you in 9 minutes of one?
Yeah. It was
So,
as I
yeah.
suspected. I predicted it would be a normal episode with like 2 minutes of wedding at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At least we didn't get Micah and Maribel's wedding that some people were.
Oh god, yeah, the double
"What
wedding.
is
Yeah.
that?"
That would have been pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
You can look forward to that being the finale of season 4. And they'll have more of them in the episode than Bette and Tina were in this episode.
No,
Yeah.
hopefully they're done.
No, they'll have like 57 minutes of a 58-minute episode of Micah and Maribel. You think there's going to be a season 4 or not? Or do you think that was their farewell?
Going into this season, knowing what I knew, I thought it was going to be the last, because I didn't see a way the show survives without Jennifer or Seppi. And in the beginning, like, because obviously the first 2 episodes, 3, like Gigi was still in them, Bette was still in them, Tina was in them, Bette and Tina got back together, so the ratings were good in the beginning. But the ratings since Seppi and Jennifer stepped away have just been absolutely abysmal. And although Showtime ratings aren't everything to them, like their main thing is subscriptions, I just think that they're so down and there's so many issues and other stuff going on behind the scenes that I just can't see how they renew it, because unless they do like a complete cleaning of the house and they really just say, we're going to kind of look at this as, because as well, like Bette and Tina have gone, like Gigi's gone, like that does open up a lot of space. So like the only way they can do it is if they completely change things and they're like, we're starting like a soft reboot, and they take the show in a
This
completely
time
different
they
direction.
include Carmen.
Yeah, with somebody was, I mean,
Like, out of the OGs, who else do you think could carry the show?
I think carry the show's a really hard one.
Or help carry the
Can
show?
we bring back Marina?
Oh, can you imagine if we brought her back now?
I mean, if they had Leisha, Kate, Rose, that's strong, but I think they would need they'd need to bring like a Carmen and a Helena or something like that. Helena, people, I don't think the Showtime and the crew or writers recognize how many people, like I definitely get the most, where's Helena, what's happening with Helena. Anytime I do like a poll or ask about OGs, like Helena is always number 1.
Is it just because she's pretty, or like is there anything?
I think
about
that's
the
the appeal
character?
with them all, Jess.
I thought Rachel Shelley was hot, but I also like one of my ultimate favorite story. I know heaps of people are going to hate me for this. One of my ultimate favorite storylines besides Shane and
Dylan.
Carmen was Dylan. Not just storyline wise, it was a shit storyline, but the chemistry between those 2 actors blew the lid off anything I'd previously seen before ever. So they were, for me, they were a very close second to like Shane and Carmen.
Oh my god, I thought they were horrendous.
Oz likes hot
But you think
people,
that about
and
Tina?
Hey, not just hot people with chemistry.
No, I know, but that's like your thing when you watch stuff. You want to see hot people together.
Yep, I do.
You want to see the chemistry, and you want to see them have the perfect kiss.
Yes.
That's what you look for when you're watching something.
Yes. It has to be lit well. I mean, Ash can attest to this.
Right.
It has to be lit well, and you have to see it properly. I don't want no cameras spinning around.
That's like basic, like we're asking
like
for the world here.
101 in lighting. So we want to see shit.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean,
That's why I loved everything Aaron Spelling put out. They had hot, glossy people with chemistry who could make out in good lighting situations. Done. Tick. Just give me that in lesbian form and I'm happy.
see, and I was totally done with Helena the second she came back and had a complete personality transplant.
Oh, you mean
No,
like the
she
fifth time?
got better.
It was like, oh, I guess people didn't like her as a bitch. We'll make her into someone who's like super overly sweet.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
Like, what?
So that's the episode.
Yeah, that was a fun season to talk about.
Yeah, wow.
Shall we cheers to the wedding?
It's been real, you guys.
Should we cheers to the wedding?
We're not done yet. Don't worry. We will have
to the wedding of the
specials.
decade. Wait, how do you say
Yeah.
2 decades?
Our Generation Q season 3. We have had the highest of highs, Bette and Tina's reunion, and the lowest of lows, Gigi having oranges thrown at her. But we've been here to talk and bitch about it all. So we are eternally grateful to you for providing us something to get up at 3:30 in the morning for. We love to hate you, hate to love you, and we love you. To the Our Generation Q season 3.
Cheers.
Thank fuck
Bing.
it's over. Only joking. Only joking.
It was how Jess and I felt when the season 6 finished.
We will have some specials because we have our episode with Jill Maxey and M. Weinstein coming out. We may have another little
Some things in the works.
special or two up our sleeve.
Ash is going to work her magic at the finale party.
Flash to me being dragged out, cuffs.
Flash to them being like, security!
Get her away from us! So
That crazy British girl is here.
we're working on a few things, but we will also be doing a wrap up of the season, and I think Jess Rothschild is going to join us. So we'll have Chris, Ash, Jess, and Jess.
Jess and Jess.
We'll have a Jess row.
Probably slicey.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll definitely be doing that within the next week or so. And yeah, thank you so much for
Thanks for
listening.
Yeah.
This is a lot of, I mean, our podcasts are pretty long, so we really do appreciate all of you for listening. We've had a really fun season, no matter what has happened on the show. It's been a really, really great time for us and talking to all of you guys. So thank you so much. And as I said, we've got a few more episodes left. And maybe someday I'll convince Chris and Jess to start from season 1, episode 1. If you want to see that,
that means we have to
them.
watch it again.
Harass them. But we will see you back here for our next special. Thank you so much again for listening. Make sure that you are checking out Chris and Jess's website, The L Word Online, and following them on social media. Check out my YouTube channel that's linked below and my social media as well. And we'll see you back here for our next special. Have a great rest of your week. We love you. Thanks for listening. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.